Yes?
Why did Mom leave and never come back?
Animal Farm, written by George Orwell, is a story that begins with the mistreatment of the animal residents of Manor Farm at the hands of a cruel farmer named Jones. The animals revolt against Jones to take over the farm and rename it Animal Farm, instating an ideology they call animalism with 7 commandments. At first, life is better than it ever was before, but soon one of the pigs named Napoleon takes advantage of animalism. He becomes a ruthless dictator like Jones once was, changing the rules of animalism as he sees fit. The events in the book mimic the events... Cut. Back up. Animal Farm is an analogy of the rise of communism in Russia. The events in the book mimic the history of communism from the beginning of Lenin to the end of Stalin. The book is a lesson on the failure of the system and a warning to those who think otherwise.
And that's the way the cookie crumbles.
That's the way the pig pecungles.
Whoa, radical dude! Did you know that George Orwell was actually a soldier for the British Army? He served 2 consecutive missions in Spain and also Burma. Well, the more you know, bro. You should join the military. It's cool, and you can write books, and then you can die alone.
The book was a veiled attack at Stalin's dictatorship.
That's interesting.
Did you know that Animal Farm wasn't allowed to be distributed in the Soviet Union? That's cool.
That sucks.
No.
George Orwell is just his pen name. His real name is Eric Arthur Blair. Something that not a lot of people know, but now you do.
Callum's book
Review!
Woo! It's a Callum's book review. I read today a book called Animal Farm by the always beautiful, handsome, and loquacious George Orwell. This book was written in 1942, which coincidentally, if you take 42 and multiply it by 2, you get 1984. Which is another book by George Orwell. Anyways, this book's about animals, and they really suck at being in a government because, I mean, they're animals. Come on, man. Get with the program. This book really opened my eyes about certain aspects of writing, especially that of symbolism. You know, there is not a single character or moment in this book that does not have a symbol behind it, and I think that is... Where's George Orwell?
Wow.
What? Alright, this is Calum's book review, not Darius's interruption dime. I want to dig up George Orwell and give him a kiss on the mouth for writing this book.
Alright, Tansen's interrupting for us.
Watch your
So,
fucking language.
this book, Animal Farm, I think it was good. It wasn't the type of book you'd read to be entertained, particularly. It was more the type of book to be educated. And I feel like I have at least an IQ of over 240,000 after reading this book. Basically, my IQ is increased by 1 point. So, this book really opened my eyes to the communist uprising and the history of communism. Hey!
Oh, we're still on you? Okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
Hey.
I was gonna do something quickly.
Okay. So, the book really opened my eyes to the history of communism and the communist uprising in Russia and all that. And opened my eyes as to, like, the system of communism and how it doesn't work.
Sorry, Giannis. Okay,
We're done.
Callum's
Finish.
final
Get out of my
review
house.
score! This book, if 136 and the letter M is bad, and a 1944 Model T Ford is kind of okay, but not amazing, and an old lemon is good, I give this book the color olive, but also with a little bit of
Eric Arthur Blair, also known as his pen name, George Orwell, has made many books in his time, like Animal Farm, which we discussed today, is a book about communism. He mainly wrote about world problems, like I said, communism, fascism, and imperialism. He lived from the early 1900s to the late 1950s. He had a good life. He made good books, you know.
What a cool dude.
What a cool dude. Good night, America.
Oh my god, we're filming! Mom!
Don't you dare.
All the rules are equal, but some are more equal than others.
This quote symbolizes that sometimes it's like the people take control and advantage of the system, and they're all like, hey, let's take advantage and take over the system and make ourselves more powerful than everyone else, and then all the system is broken and communism doesn't work.
4 legs, good. But 2 legs? 2 legs.
Four begs good, boo begs better, is a symbol of how Napoleon has taken advantage of the system once again and has turned into Jones, because at the beginning they're like 4 legs good, 2 legs bad, but now he's walking on 2 legs and it's like, not the heck, you can't do that because that's taking advantage of the system and making yourself more powerful. What happened? All animals are equal.
Let's face it, our lives are miserable, laborious, and short.
So,
This quote is important because it's topical for us youngins, us teenagers, because our lives, I wouldn't say they're short exactly, but they are definitely miserable and they are definitely laborious. Thank you, public education system. Spot on job.
All men are enemies. All animals are comrades.
So
all humans are enemies and all animals are comrades is kind of meant to symbolize how the Soviet Union was like, no matter what, if they come from a certain area, they are a certain way. You know, there's no gray area for them. They just kind of view everything as black and white. But and they can't come to terms with the fact that there are shades of gray. There is muddy water. The theme is that even if you have the most purest of intentions in your ideological understanding of the economic and socio-political platform of our current paradigm, someone can come along and corrupt that and basically just swing you back into where you were, i.e., what's his name, Napoleon, just bringing us back into good old-fashioned capitalism, except it's worse now because he's a pig.
intellectualism. Yeet!
Ow, my friggin' head.